That's
right?
not what happened on my live, so I don't know why we're discussing this. We're talking about what I've done. You're wanting to come up with and to ask me what I've done and how I've contributed. So
Okay,
how about we stick to that?
sure. Okay, so I'm just going to answer my own question. The answer is yes, you know that it was somebody else that contacted that family and it wasn't Bobby, right? So what that means is that when you allowed the receipts and the misinformation that it was Bobby that did that initially,
That didn't happen on my live.
you didn't know that as
That did
factual,
not happen on my
right?
live.
Yes, it did.
It did
So
not.
you allowed misinformation. It
You
turned out
can
to not be
you,
true.
you can go to the YouTube, my YouTube, and go through the whole video, and you point out exactly where that information popped up. Because on my live, that didn't happen.
On your live, it didn't happen that
Correct.
that you allowed the platforming of somebody who is saying that Bobby contacted the family of someone else's rapist.
If they said that, it didn't happen on my live.
Okay, that's a lie. But
Again,
great.
please bring up where I did that.
No, like if you're the fact that you won't acknowledge that you knew that that turned out to be incorrect information, it tells me that you're being manipulative and misleading intentionally, right?
Or I'm talking about what I've done, and if you want to talk about what somebody else did, you can speak with them about it.
Hey, I have been asking for Irish to come up forever. So, you you're dodging my questions,
Not at
and
all. If it's a question about me, I'll answer it. Sure.
so I did, and you wouldn't answer it,
Okay, what
right?
was the question again? About me?
You allowed that to happen on your
That
live.
didn't happen on my
You
live.
don't own that it was misinformation on your
That did not
live.
happen on my live.
Okay, so now you're just lying.
Okay, you could please show me where it happened on my live.
We're not doing lying on here. No, I'm not going to. There's a reason that Mac. I know that you want to come up and talk. I'm not going to, and it's because of the the delicacy of the situation. So what I want is people to come up and tell me why they feel that they can and should bully people online. So if you're not going to do that, so far what I'm getting is I can do it if it's true, even if I can't prove it's true. I can do whatever I want, and I don't care about the impacts. There's nothing that somebody can say to change the narrative that I believe about them. These are problematic, guys. Like, just letting you know. So yeah, if you want to come and talk to me about why people bully, free Jesus. I talk to Jesus. Jesus, yeah. No, Mac, I'm not gonna let you. I'm sorry. Like I'm not doing it because I am like afraid to talk to you. I will talk to you privately, but this isn't the place to talk about exactly what happened to you. I'm not defending Bobby. I'm not. All I'm saying is the information was put out about Bobby that he contacted the family of somebody's rapist, and he didn't do that. So, like, that was what it. Someone else came up and said it wasn't Bobby that did that; it was me that did that. And anybody who knows anything about the situation knows that that's how it went down. And so, what I'm saying is, why then is it okay to have spread the misinformation that he was the person that did that in the first place? I'm not defending anything that he has said or done. I'm saying why, if that turned out to be misinformation, is it okay that that misinformation was spread? Like, why is it justified to have done that? Irish, I don't know why you're saying that it was misinformation. I heard you have a conversation with the person that actually did it. And you said, you know that that's really bad that you did that, right? Like, it was... Oh, so you're saying they both did it? Okay. I don't have the proof about that. That was just, I watched it. And why, you can leave. No, Bobby said he absolutely did not contact the family. The cops. Yeah, we're not even going to go there. I have a lot of opinions about that. I believe the stalker. I believe Bobby. No, I'm not going to, Mac. I've told you that. Like, you should just, go away. I don't want to talk about Bobby. We're talking about behavior here. All right, who we got? No. No. Mm-hmm. Mac, give it up. Like, I don't have to like mute you or block you or whatever. So. I don't know. Is Beth still in here? I'll talk to Beth. Nicole, I'm thinking about it, but I don't. I mean, I know who you are, so. Okay, let's give this a shot. I don't know who this is. Hi.
Hi. So are you just gonna like keep talking about Mac's trauma? Or are you gonna bring her up, or like what are you doing here? What's going on? So are you just gonna start talking about something else? Because at this point, I probably would if I were you.
Yes, I'm going to talk about something else.
Okay, great. So what do you want to talk about?
I want to know why people think it's okay to bully other people on the internet. Why they think
Who specifically? Who specifically?
I'm not talking about anybody specifically.
Then I'm afraid I don't think anyone's really going to be able to give you an answer.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? Hello.
Yeah, hi. What constitutes bullying in your book?
There's a lot of stuff. So the spreading of misinformation about people. There's things that are really simple. So like somebody who will do something like, for example, like people that like steal my identity kind of thing. That's to use for nefarious purposes, whatnot.
Right.
There's the lying, the misinformation, the intent to do harm, really. And
Well, yeah, but you kind of have to prove that the intent is to do harm and that things are misinformation.
okay, so you're saying that it's not bullying unless I can prove intent?
Well, yeah, because the reason that people could be sharing something is obviously not necessarily for the purpose of bullying. Like, I can share something about someone, like, with not, like, that's where doxing can come in. It's like, if the intent was to cause harm, then yeah. But if the intent isn't to cause harm, then it's very different. So that's why I asked what constitutes bullying.
Okay, so you
Like,
think
what constitutes bullying to me is bringing up someone's situation repeatedly and not letting them up. Like, that's fucking weird, bro. Like,
okay, so you're calling me weird?
yeah, I'm calling you a bully and you're weird because you're not you're talking about specific situations and not bringing someone up who's directly involved. Like, that could be bullying, could it not?
Pardon?
That could be bullying, could it not? Not like talking about someone's specific situation and not bringing them up. Is that not bullying? Like, you're talking about their life and their like trauma, and you're not bringing them up. That's like kind of wild.
Mentioned a situation. I have not used the individual's name.
You've brought Mac up like 10 times, like her name.
I have told Mac that I'm not bringing her up. Because and then you've brought up why and you've gone into detail and you're still not bringing her up. It's just weird behavior. Could that be bullying? No.
Is bullying like subjective now or what?
I have said I'm not bringing up Mac because I know of the situation involving her and it's too sensitive for this.
Yet here you are talking about it still. Like, you started talking about it and you're clearly... Yeah, you're still talking about it though, and you're bringing up Bobby and you're bringing up Mac, and like, if you really didn't want to talk about it, then stop.
Change the subject. Can we change the subject?
Yeah, but I asked you what constitutes bullying, and by your definition, you would be bullying.
So you're bringing up that I'm bullying Mac, yes?
Yeah.
So which one of us is bringing?
Because you want to bring up bullying. If you want to bring up bullying, we can talk about bullying. Like, I don't know what you want.
I want to talk about.
You want to talk about general bullying, or do you want to just talk about specific kinds of bullying?
I want to talk about why people bully.
Because they have nothing better to do, like what you're doing. You're like bringing up people's situations and talking about specific situations, and then constantly being like, "I'm not bringing her up. I'm not bringing her up." Like, at least let her up to speak for a sec, and then drop her. Like, you don't have to make a whole conversation about it. But I think not letting her up is like. Would constitute. I mean, if we want to talk about bullying, bullying could be subjective.
I'm going to mute you.
Okay. That's fine. You can mute me. It just shows proving a point.
Great. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. So what it shows is that what you're doing is trying to manipulate me, right? Manipulate the narrative, manipulate all the people watching. So what I did, I was very, very careful about this. I talked about two completely separate situations that a lot of people know about each of these separate situations.
What situations then?
No, I'm trying to.
So you're bringing up situations, and then when I say what situations, no.
Because you and I have agreed we're changing the subject, correct?
But you keep giving example, like you keep saying certain things, and then when I say, what do you mean? Like, give me an example. You're like, no. Because you're obviously talking about Mac and Bobby.
No.
We'll bring up specific situations
just
then.
Said that.
Bring up other situations then. Besides,
you're the one that just
you mentioned something and I said, give me an example, and you said no.
No, I'm saying I want to talk about bullying in general, cyberbullying. You brought up this example saying that I'm bullying Mac.
I said it could be an example.
I'm making the claim that I am connecting Mac and Bobby. I have not done that.
I don't know if you're reading the comments, but Irish said that he authorizes me to speak for him.
I don't care.
I'm just saying. Are you reading the comments, or are you just?
I'm actually not.
So what's the point in this? Like, cause it like again.
I've said the point a bunch of times.
Yeah. But no, I'm just going to say like accountability. Like having someone taking accountability for things isn't bullying.
Having somebody take a say that again. Sorry.
Yeah, having someone that's taking having someone trying to hold someone accountable is not bullying.
So if you're trying to hold somebody accountable for something they didn't do, is that bullying?
Yeah, if you can prove that they didn't do it. Right. Like Ernesto was up here asking you to show clips and you wouldn't do it.
How do you prove that somebody didn't do something?
How do you want to ask, you said you wanted to talk to Irish. Do you want to ask me the same questions you want to ask him? Because Irish said it's okay.
No, Irish can come up here and talk to me himself.
Okay, so Ernesto was up here before and you were mentioned something about something that happened on his live and you wouldn't give proof or an example. He was saying it didn't happen. So is that not misinformation? If it didn't happen on his live, aren't you spreading misinformation?
No, because it did happen. I can prove it.
Okay, so can you prove it?
Yes, I can. I'm not going to.
Okay, go ahead then.
No, I'm not going to, because
Oh,
that's
so
not
you're not going to prove. So you can prove it, but you're not going to. You're just choosing not to.
I can't.
Okay, misinformation. You just said misinformation is bullying.
Misinformation is bullying. Yes, this isn't.
Yeah, and it's misinformation. It didn't happen on his live. Prove it.
I could prove it. I'm not going
So
to.
prove it. Otherwise, you're being a bully by your own logic.
I'm not.
Okay,
being
so
a
you're
bully
spreading
because it's
misinformation and not proving it. Okay,
It's
misinformation. So you're a bully.
Okay, shut up or you're going away.
Right.
Shut up or you're
Mute
going
me.
away. Go away.
Mute me.
Okay, the reason it's not misinformation is because it's true. I'm choosing to not prove it because I don't want to talk about specific situations. That's, you guys are doing that. You guys are also making connections that I'm not making. You're doing that, right? Not me. So really, what you guys are doing right now is so like I know the outfall of this. So doing this looking at this from like a behavioral psychology, social psychology kind of framework, which is my intent in doing that, is that the intention here is to create more drama, right? So I'm not trying to create drama. I'm trying to learn about the motives that people hold for doing the things that they do. So, but what's happening is that instead of answering that question, which some people have sort of made like, okay, this is an answer, but we're going to talk about this now, kind of a thing. I think is, so people are doing that basically so that they can just like come after me, right? And like, I don't care. Come after me down there in the comments. If you're going to come up here and talk to me, you're going to answer my questions. That's how that's going to work. So if somebody wants to come and tell me why they think that they can and or should bully people on the internet, please do that. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Do I know you?
No, but you wanted to talk about the bullying topic, and I wanted to as well.
Okay. So why do you think that people think that it's okay to bully people on the internet?
Right. So some people deserve it, like Bobby,
Okay.
since you brought him up.
Sure. So you think that some people deserve it. So how do you determine whether or not somebody deserves it?
Yeah, right. So whenever you stalk, harass, bully, make someone's life a living hell, you also deserve a little bit of the fire,
Okay.
I believe. And I think also whenever you give out information about somebody's rapist, not only on your public live, but also to people who are willing to contact the family, that's problematic. And I believe that you deserve to be bullied a little bit here and there for doing that.
Okay. So people deserve it.
Yeah, some people, such as Bobby, yes.
Okay. So hi, Mac. So you are, so you're saying that he, bullied and harassed and whatever to you.
Mm-hmm.
You can prove that.
Yeah, I can prove that.
And so you think that two wrongs make a right? Yes?
So, I mean, here's the thing. I think what he's done specifically to me, if I were to get frustrated and call him a balding little boy, I don't think that me calling him a balding little boy is at all the same harm that he's done to me. I would never stoop down to his level and do what he did to me, to him, or anyone around him. But what he did to me was highly traumatic and highly insensitive. And the fact that you're trying to justify, I guess, or be on his side, is very upsetting, especially given that Sarah might have been the person to directly contact my ex's family. However, how do you think Sarah got that information? From Bobby.
Okay.
First and last names were given out by Bobby.
Honestly,
Like, the entire information was given out by Bobby.
okay. I'm not defending Bobby, right? I'm not. I've also intentionally not connected his situation with your situation. I did that intentionally, so somebody else did that, right? So now you're here and you're doing it too. So
Bobby deserves to be bullied. I don't care if it's
I'm not-
in relation to this or not. It can be out of relation. Bobby deserves nothing but the worst.
if you want to bully Bobby because he did all these terrible things to you, I'm not going to say that that's right or wrong. That's not what I'm here for. Like, if that's what you need to do to help you deal with the trauma that you went through as a result of his actions, that's your decision. I'm not trying to. I'm not saying what's right and wrong. What I'm trying to do is learn people's intentions behind their actions, right? Why are they doing the things that you're doing? So you're saying that you're doing it because he did
No,
these
I'm not
things to
bullying
you
him.
much worse, right?
No, so I'm not personally bullying him. I'm calling out the things that he has been doing to me. Other people might be bullying him and calling him names. That's not me. But I'm not saying that I'm against other people calling him names.
Okay.
Me personally, I'm not doing that. I'm holding him accountable.
Okay, so but you did say that you called him like what, a balding whatever.
No, I said if. I said if I were to call him a balding little boy, I don't think that's the same amount of harm.
No, I would agree. And so like we're coming to this consensus of there's like different levels of bullying, like bad bullying, like really bad bullying, like just a little bit of bullying, like there's different levels.
I mean, I don't necessarily think name calling is bullying, but I think you would call it that. But like if you're anti-Bobby, why did you try to reach out to him via Blue Sky? Like a couple months ago.
Yeah, many months ago. So I had never heard of Bobby before in my life. And the reason that I messaged him on Blue Sky was because what I do is I try and talk to people directly to get the most direct information. So I did ask him to contact me and he never did. So I didn't talk to him. Like, that's why.
Well, why didn't you try to contact me at all? As the victim of him.
Because I did spend a lot of time listening to you.
Okay, and so your only conclusion from listening to my side, and I guess also whatever Bobby put out, was that it was misinformation, that Bobby was the one who contacted my rapist family, even though he stated on a live that he did want to get in contact with them, and that he also was the one who gave the personal information so that Sarah could go and find this family and contact them. Mm-hmm. So it's not misinformation. Bobby said he wanted to contact the family.
Okay. So,
and knowing Bobby, he more than likely did, seeing as he contacted my school, seeing as he gave out personal information. I don't think it's... Huh?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay. And this is just like it's not like a judgment. It isn't like, I'm not asking this question because I'm trying to defend Bobby. It's, you're saying that it's not misinformation, and I'm saying it is misinformation because if somebody says that he contacted those people and he didn't contact those people, that is misinformation. Like, I get what you're saying, that he said that he wanted to, and that he allowed or set up the situation that somebody else was able to do it, but he didn't do it himself. So that's misinformation. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not saying that what he did was right by any stretch of the imagination. I've listened to a lot of the stuff that's been kind of going on. And yeah, like there's a whole bunch of bad stuff. And like I said, I didn't want to bring you up here, and I didn't want, mostly because I don't think that this is good for anybody. And like you said, like you're super traumatized. So I don't know, like why do you want to come up here and talk about it?
Because it was spoken about. And also the police, whenever they did contact me and reach out to me, they confirmed that Bobby was in contact with the family. So even if, like, I don't feel like I need to give out detail after detail after detail, there's still details that I just got like a week ago that I'm not going to give out. But like, there are things that you're like, I just don't understand why you're saying that you're anti like cyberbullying, and you're bringing up Bobby as an example.
I did not say,
but you're not bringing up what he did to me.
I'm not saying that I am anti cyberbullying. I haven't taken a position. I'm just looking for intentions, right?
But you brought up Bobby with Ernesto, right?
Because he asked me for an example of somebody that he canceled, and that's kind of the biggest one that everybody knows. It's like low-hanging fruit.
I mean, do you think that the cops involved with the situation were fake?
I'm not going to make comments on like my personal opinion on the whole situation.
Well, no, you can give me your personal opinion.
No.
I'm like,
I will talk to you privately about it. I will not do it publicly.
Well, why not? I'm kind of concerned. Do you think that I'm like lying? Like,
I just don't. Honestly, I just don't think that I can make like a public statement. It wouldn't be coming from a place of fact, and I don't really like to say things that I don't know are like true. So
okay, so like, give me a percentage. How likely do you think it is that the police involved are real, and that the Officer Angel was a real account?
I'm not going to.
Well, I'm just kind of like curious as to why. That seems kind of like Bobby rhetoric.
Well, we can talk
because that's something that he's been pushing.
We can talk about it privately. I don't mind doing that. We can have a private conversation.
Well, I think it should be talked about publicly, seeing as Bobby caused public harm.
Okay, well, you can do that yourself. I'm not going to.
You're not going to make a statement on whether or not you believe the police were legitimate or not.
I don't think that I have the information to have an opinion on that. I can't.
Okay. So do you believe that, like, Bobby is a dangerous person for women? Or?
I think that it is quite possible, maybe even probable, but I don't know enough information to make an informed judgment on that. So I know that you have enough information to say that based on your personal experience. And that's, I don't have an issue with you saying that. I don't have enough information for myself to be 100% confident. But yeah, I think it's quite likely. But like I said, I don't want to really like get into the weeds on this, because I think that it's super sensitive, and I'm actually not. Check this out. See here, everybody look. Irish, he said it right there. You will never regain your platform ever again. See, I wasn't lying. He said it.
Do you think women are safe around Bobby?
I don't know, Bobby. I can't.
Well, I guess, like,
opinion.
what what are my claims? You said you've watched a lot of my content about Bobby. I guess what have you gathered that the claims are against Bobby? And if those claims were true, do you think that that would make him a dangerous person?
That is something that you can go right ahead and go on another live or host your own live about. I don't want to talk about.
Well, I guess I'm not sure why you don't want to talk about it.
We're here to talk about what I'm here to talk about. So, are you finished answering my question?
Well, you brought him up earlier with Ernesto and suggested that he was a victim of a cancellation that was unwarranted.
No.
Okay, do you think his cancellation was warranted? I'll ask you
know.
that.
This is what I keep saying. I don't know. I don't have the information to make like statements about specific situations. Right? That was an example I brought up about when I was talking up to and about Ernesto.
Well, I guess so. Apparently, there's a mod muting Irish. I guess he's trying to talk with you in the comments, but he keeps getting muted. But like, what evidence would you require to see that Bobby is a bad, dangerous person and that the claims are true?
Honestly, like I said, I don't want to talk about Bobby. I don't want to talk about you. That's not what we're here to do. So like if you're done answering my questions, then I'll move on.
I haven't really heard any of your questions. Are you just talking about the quote unquote mischaracterization, which wasn't a mischaracterization?
Okay. So you say that if it's not a mischaracterization, then bullying is warranted.
I mean, yeah, Bobby, I don't care what happens to Bobby. Whatever comes his way is the result of what he did to me. Sucks to suck. You shouldn't have done what you did to me.
Okay. Thank you. That's the answer to the question that I'm looking for. That's all that I'm looking for. Do you have more to say about that, or is that it?
What I would say is that Bobby traumatizes women. Bobby tries to.
Sorry, stop. I don't want to talk about Bobby, and I don't want to talk about you. I want to talk about cyberbullying. And so what you said was, it's okay if they deserve it, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say about cyberbullying in general? Not talking about your situation or talking about Bobby's situation.
Yeah, I think if you would like to use an example of cyberbullying, you could use my name instead of Bobby's, because Bobby harassed and stalked me. It wasn't the other way around.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that because it's a sensitive subject, and like you said, is traumatizing. So I'm not going to add to that of my own free will. And I don't really understand why you're trying to like push me into doing that. So
I'm trying to get you to understand that whenever you say that, like whenever you bring up Bobby as someone that Ernesto canceled, as if Ernesto canceled him and it was unwarranted, that's traumatizing. It's traumatizing to hear other people on the internet talk on a situation that they didn't have to endure, and talk on a situation and say, oh, like this person got wrongfully canceled. This person, why did you cancel this person? And like cry for the person who perpetrated violence.
Okay, can I respond?
Sure.
I did not say that he wrongfully canceled Bobby. I asked why he did it, right? I didn't say that it was right or wrong. I didn't hold a position on it. I also intentionally did not bring up you. I said I didn't want to bring you up. Here you are on an alt, right?
Yeah, I have the right to talk about this, I think, whenever people bring it up.
Right?
No, I think whenever other people are making public statements or public conversation about what Bobby did, I think it's fair for me to publicly come up and publicly address what happened.
I did not make any statements about what Bobby did. I made statements about what Ernesto did. right?
As if it was wrong. It wasn't. Ernesto canceling Bobby is not
whether
wrong.
it was right or wrong.
Okay, so then why are we talking about it in the same conversation where we're talking about cyberbullying? That's what I'm not understanding. You're trying to have a conversation about cyberbullying, but you're up Ernesto's ass about what? Canceling a person who deserved to be canceled? Is that what, like, that's what's not making sense or tracking?
I asked Ernesto why he canceled people. He maintains that he didn't cancel anybody, right? So, like, you're saying that he did. So you're actually agreeing with me. So,
Well, I'm saying, like, as if your worldview was true or not. I mean, I think, like, it was a collective effort to get Bobby off of this app by many different people. It wasn't just one person. It was a collective effort.
Ernesto's the only one that offered to come up and talk about why he participated.
I mean, you suggested that Ernesto wrongfully canceled someone, and so he came up to talk about who that person was, and you named Bobby.
I did not suggest that he, I said that he cancels people, and he said he doesn't cancel people. He's still saying he doesn't cancel people. He says it right here. Yes. And he wanted an example of somebody that he canceled. And I said he allowed his platform to be used in the cancellation of Bobby. That's all that I said about it. There's no statement as to whether I thought that the cancellation of Bobby was right or wrong, and no statement about what Bobby did or didn't do to deserve it. I did not say anything about that either, intentionally. So this behavior, right, is actually, you're trying to put me in this position. Like, you're putting words in my mouth.
So I'm trying to hold you to the fire so you can make definitive statements on what your true opinions are.
But I don't want to talk about what Bobby did or didn't do, and I don't want to talk about what happened.
I guess I'm not understanding why you don't want to talk about it if you don't support him. People who don't support Bobby are fine talking about it.
It is absolutely not my place to talk about it.
Okay, so then why do you have private opinions that you wouldn't share publicly, I guess would be my question.
Because I think that these kinds of conversations should not happen publicly. And I understand that other people disagree with that. I know that.
Okay, so
yourself included, because you said this earlier, you think that this should be talked about publicly. And that's you are entitled to that opinion, and you are entitled to go and have a public conversation about your experiences. It's just not going to be with me.
Okay, but if you suggest that you have differing if you suggest that you have opinions that you do not want to share online, what you are communicating to the audience is that you have opinions that us in the audience would find distasteful surrounding the Bobby situation, meaning that you have supportive opinions of Bobby, and that's why you don't want to share them on a public platform, because you know that it would harm your reputation even further than your reputation has already been harmed. You're not involved in the case. You don't need to protect yourself from anything.
No, I'm not protecting me. This is You're
protecting Bobby?
No, you. I've been trying to protect you, and you're.
Well, I'm good with it. Like, I'm actually good with it. I'm good with whatever bullshit opinion that you have of Bobby. I'm good if you think that the police are fake. That's fine, because I have all of the evidence to back me up. Like, if it's one thing about me,
like,
I have the evidence.
I'm just saying, go share it elsewhere. Like, that's fine. It's just not. This isn't the spot.
Well, it just seems like you have differing opinions that you don't want to share on the internet because you're scared. But that's all.
So that's your opinion, right?
So then definitively say that the cop was real.
I cannot do that. I don't know the cop. How could I possibly do that?
Okay, so do you believe that there were police involved at all?
I have no idea. I don't know. I am not internal to the situation.
Okay, but you do know that you have heard the allegations against Bobby, and you can't even determine whether or not he's a dangerous person based off of the allegations.
Because they're allegations, right?
Yeah, they're allegations that are true and provable by the police that contacted me. The police that quite literally called me. I didn't even have to call them. They called me. They tracked me down and they called me and they told me that they had a dangerous individual who had a great amount of information on me and was providing them with a bunch of unfounded claims. The only one making false allegations was Bob. And provided all of these unfounded claims on me to the police to attempt to get me in trouble. And Bobby, in so doing, made himself out to showing the police that he is a dangerous stalker who will compile like so much personal information on a person that it becomes a criminal like issue at that point.
Okay, are you done?
I mean,
the reason. Okay, so here's the thing. The reason that I won't formulate an opinion about whether or not I think that the police officer is real is because of my own experiences in active investigations. So I am being very knowledgeable about how active investigations work in my country and how it appears that in this case, active investigations work differently in your country. And because I don't know how an investigation, an active police investigation works in your country, I don't think that I should be formulating any opinion on this particular case, right? Because we're in two different countries. I can say definitively, if this was happening in my country, this individual, this police officer would absolutely like not be on TikTok talking about this, would never allow any of this information to be shared. But that's in my country. And I have like honestly said many times, this is to me, I don't understand this. This looks like a difference between the two countries in how police conduct their investigations. So, and I'm willing to say that is different. It is different. It's 100% different in the United States than it is in Canada in how they conduct their investigations. So I can't say whether or not that individual is real because I just don't have enough information about how active police investigations work in the United States. Like that's the bare bones of that.
well, I guess like what would give you like you as a nurse or a previous nurse, what would give you the credentials to comment on a stalking case? Like what cases have you been involved with? I guess that would give you these credentials.
Stalking?
Well, just anything, honestly, any sort of police report in general or a police investigation.
Yeah. So as a nurse, I've worked with the police on several cases. So
Okay.
like several active
Any stalking cases in specific or no?
Stalking, no, not stalking.
Okay. So Bobby suggested that the person behind that police account, or that, what he calls a fake account, was me. And he drew that, I guess, by stating that the person who ran that account talked about having finals. So, like, do you believe that I was behind that account, or... Because, like, I mean, I'm just curious as to, like, how far that rhetoric has spread.
I don't think that I've heard that before. I don't think that that's true.
Okay.
But
I guess, like, so I guess, like, kind of going back to, like, your knowledge on police and investigations, I mean, how specifically did you work with the cops? Like, what was your role?
I can't actually talk about it, right? So like that's how active police investigations work. You can't talk about the investigations. You can't talk about your
Well, you don't have to give specifics. You could just like,
you just said specifically.
no. I mean, like, what like was your role as a nurse, and like, what did you have to provide, or like, what specifically did you do to collaborate with the police?
With the police, yeah. So I've had patients who are both. I've had many situations. So I have patients that were victims and had to sort of collaborate with the police for their safety. I've also had patients who are under arrest themselves, who are under the protection of, or protection under the, like, sorry, what's it called? When people are in jail, right? Actively in jail, they have to come to the hospital sometimes. In that sense. Also investigations with, so people who are victims, who are my patients who are at risk. We have at-risk people people who are risky in the community that the police are trying to track down. It's a lot of collaboration, and we just do a lot of that about trying to make sure that these investigations get kind of all of the information. I've also had to like testify in court about situations involving people. There's lots of ways.
Okay, so you
Like,
testified.
Than that.
So you testified in some cases and provided medical care, is what I'm gathering.
I have testified in cases. I provide nursing care to all of my patients, regardless of who they are, right? That's my job. And sometimes that includes conversations with police.
Okay. But I'm assuming it's been a while since you've done that, seeing as you're, from my understanding, not a nurse anymore or currently.
Mm-hmm. I'm not currently practicing, correct?
Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I would just say like if you're at all in any sort of communication with Bobby or at all behind the scenes talking with him,
I have not spoken to Bobby. I have not.
Okay, I would just suggest, like, for your own safety and the people around you's safety, that you, because he has a history of this. He focuses on one creator, he stalks them for however long, and then he'll move on to his next target. Luckily, his accounts are currently down, so that's great. So he can no longer do that, but he is a dangerous person.
Okay.
So I would suggest that you watch the videos on my main page that give all of the information, quite literally gives all of the information, there's recordings from the police officer, there's emails that are given,
Mac,
everything. So you can look at that there.
Mac, I am going to say, one, I am not in conversation with Bobby at all. Okay? Number one. Number two, that is not why I'm here. I'm not here to formulate any kind of opinion on this situation between you and him specifically. Like I said, I will talk to you about it privately. The third thing that I'm going to say, I am going to end this. The reason that I'm going to end it is not because I don't want to talk to you, that I'm protecting Bobby or whatever. I've tried to give you space because obviously you want to talk about this. I would prefer it not be on my platform, but I'm trying to be respectful that you want to talk about it. But I need to move on for myself. I really want you to be able to express your feelings. And I think that that's very necessary. I didn't want it to be in this space. I don't want it to be publicly. So You can talk to me if you ever wanted to privately. I am 100% here for victims, always. I don't feel comfortable doing that publicly. It's just not really the space. It's certainly not on my platform. If somebody wants to bring it, like if you want me to come up on your platform and you want to talk to me about it, then I would consider doing that. It is hard for me to do because anytime I go on somebody else's live, I just get torpedoed. So I'm trying not to, I don't want to shut you down, right? I'm just trying to maintain the structure that I want the intention of this live to be. And I feel like I have said that I don't want to formulate an opinion publicly about this situation. I've tried very hard not to talk about this situation directly, and I've been pushed into doing that. And so at this point, I feel like I am not going to talk about it anymore. And it's
Are you gonna go at all educate yourself by watching my videos? Because I have a playlist on my main account.
I actually have watched all of it, but like I said, I don't want to talk about this specific situation on my platform.
You've watched my videos, but you can't form a coherent opinion or a definite opinion.
I can. I'm not going to say publicly what my opinion is because I need it with things like active police investigations. It's really important not to do that. You don't get involved until it's finished, right? So when the day comes that there is a ruling that says that Bobby's a dangerous person, I will 100% publicly say Bobby's a dangerous person. But it's an active police investigation, to my understanding, which means I'm not going to get involved with it. I know that that's the way that it goes here in Canada, and I suspect it's got to be something similar in the States. So to me, like the fact that we're even talking about this at all is like it makes me really uncomfortable because I know that we shouldn't be talking about it as an active police investigation.
So
that's why we're going to move on.
Yeah, the police haven't told me that I'm not allowed to talk about it or share information on social media. So
that's your choice.
I would just say that like you needing a ruling is dangerous.
No, I'm
to
saying
believe
like, it's an active police investigation. It's not appropriate for me to talk about my opinions. I don't want to talk about the situation. It shouldn't be talked about openly at all. It's an active police investigation. So when the police investigation is over, then I'll talk about it. Does that make sense?
Not necessarily, because the police are fine with it being discussed.
Okay, that's between you and them. I'm not fine with it.
Okay, I'm not sure how you forming an opinion on it would. What it sounds like to me is that you're just kind of tiptoeing around it and saying like, oh, I don't want to make an opinion because you don't want to make a definite statement or a definite opinion until there's either A, a ruling, or B, I show up somewhere in some body bag. Those are the two scenarios where you would make a definite opinion as to whether or not this man is dangerous. And I think that's a little bit crazy. I think that you can make a definite opinion on if someone's dangerous prior to those things happening.
Okay, I'm sorry. That took a turn that I am absolutely not comfortable with.
I mean, that's the reality.
Thank you, Bobby.
That's the reality of it.
Gosh, that was a Freudian slip.
Like, that's the reality of it, though. Like, this is what happens when you don't believe women.
Okay. Talking about something that's an active police investigation is not appropriate ever. I believe that to be the case 100% of the time. I talked about it here way, way, way more than was even close to comfortable for me. So, Mac, like I said, if you want my opinion, if you want to talk to me about it, I will do so in private. I see what you're saying, Irish. So I am not going to say what someone should and shouldn't do. I'm not telling Mac what she should or shouldn't do. I'm saying what my boundaries are. I'm not going to talk about it while it's an active investigation. And that's the end of that. I believe victims. I see a lot of them. I think that I think where a lot of the issues that people have with me is in that, in my experience, I see a lot of nuance to situations, and I have a very hard time coming to my own opinions that are black and white. My opinions are very rarely black and white. They certainly can be in something like this. That I 100% believe what Mac went through. Like I said, I have actually, I am already familiar with everything. So it is something that I 100% believe is traumatizing for her, has been traumatizing for her, and continues to be traumatizing for her as it goes along. Personally, I don't understand why she talks about it publicly, but that's her choice, and it's just not going to be in my space. So I gave her literally as much space as I was going to do that, much more than I wanted to, as everybody knows, because I said I didn't want to bring her up because I don't want to talk about it. So I, despite what you guys are saying, I actually learned a ton to my original point of doing this. And yeah, so I'm going to just go ahead and end my live because I have the information I need. And it's, yeah, watching all of this, all of your, the things that you're saying and the things that you're doing. And it's been very informative to me for somebody who's a social psychologist. If you're here, why are you typing in the comments? Talk. Irish, you are on the live. Irish, you have been invited to unmute. No, you're not. Okay, great.